Hello, I'm Jana and welcome back to the Crafty Corner. Today we're going to be creating a stacked pocket structure. Now, I've been participating in a swap and this is how I'm going to put the swap together. We're going to create the pocket structure and then we're going to pack the swap. If you'd like to see exactly which supplies we're going to be using, go ahead and pause here. All right, let's head over to the Crafty Corner. Today we're going to be making a compartmentalized box, and this is going to be for a swap that I'm participating in. Now, I had one heck of a time finding dies that would be big enough to use for a box, and this is what I found. I found these really cool ruffled dies. They're stacked and they're definitely going to be the right size and shape to make into a box. Now, I die cut 3 of the pieces out of some plain white cardstock, and then the front panel, I had to cut that out of some Tim Holtz Distress Metallic Craft Stock by Ideology. Now, for the front panel, we're going to decorate that, and I cut up some of the backgrounds that we used in previous videos, and we're going to attach that to the front panel. Once I've done that, then I'm going to alter 2 of the plain panels to make them a little bit more interesting. One thing I am lacking is large pieces of paper, so when I can, I like to kind of make my own. And we'll do that with one of my favorite Tim Holtz stamp sets. But first, let's glue this panel down. So, this is about just under 3 inches by a little over 4. And then the little inset panel that I'm doing is going to be coming in at 2.5 by 2 3/4. And we're just going to take that and stick that right down here, and that's going to become a landing space for us to add other things to later on. But I really want to get the structure of the box completed first. But before we jump into that, I do need to decorate 2 of my panels, or they're going to be really difficult to decorate after the fact once in box form. All right, so we're going to take 2 panels. One is going to be facing right side up, the other is going to be facing upside down because the back panel is going to be showing, so it needs to get decorated as well. To decorate this, we're going to be pulling in the Tim Holtz stamp set Love Notes. One of my favorites, Love Notes, is CMS 477, and I've already got my heart pre-selected here, and we've got 2 different colors of ink that we're going to be stamping with. We've got some lumberjack plaid and some aged mahogany. Let's go ahead and start off with that beautiful lumberjack plaid. So I'm going to be going for a double stamping, just 1 and 1. We're making a little bit of a pattern. There we go. 2 more. Pretty simple, great easy way to alter paper products. And since this is going to be our foundational piece, I want to make sure that's going to look really nice. Okay, and here and there. Great, so that's the lumberjack plaid all nicely done. Let's go ahead and go for some aged mahogany next. And we're just going to continue that pattern. There we go. We've got some nice contrasting red going on here. Love it. All right, that's 1 panel done. Let's go ahead and take care of the other one. Pretty easy and a nice way to embellish when you want to make your own custom paper. All right, so those panels are all set. Now it's on to the building part of this project. And for building, we're going to be pulling in the scoreboard, because we're going to need to cut some pieces to act kind of like hinges for this box. All right, so I'm just taking my stack of panels, putting them together, pulling the scoreboard down. I've got my score tool, and I've got some plain white craft stock. Now, this is going to need to be cut down to size, and I'm going to be working in chunks of, I think it's 2.5 inches. Let me just double check my measurements on that. All right, because I'm starting with No, it's less than that. Okay, I'm just gonna kind of give myself some score marks. So I start scoring at 1/4 inch, and then I go over 1/2 inch from that, so that's 1/4 inch, 3/4 inch, and 1.25 inches, and 1.5 inches. So in total, we need 1.5 inches cut. And we're going to make 2 of our hinges this way. All right, 1.5 inches. There we go, and slice. And then these are going to be cut at 2.5 inches each for each of my little side hinges. So let's see, how many can I get out of this? 1 and 2. Okay. It's easy working in 2s. So I'm just going to cut the rest of this. And then we'll have paper for later. So I'm going to be scoring again, but let's just take a look at how these hinges actually work. So the point is to have like a little bit of a spacer that's going to give us a little bit of stretch when we put our panels together. We fold this first in the middle, and then we take our little side flaps and fold them up, because these are going to be where we're going to be sticking the glue. And it gives us this nice little hinge that's going to help hold our entire box together. So fold in the middle and then fold the 2 little sides up. All right, I'll be back in just a moment once I have the rest of our pieces ready, and then we'll jump into assembly. Okay, we now have all of our pieces cut and folded. So all of these little side supporters are coming in at 2.5 inches. And then we've got our nice little W folds, and we have 6 of them in total. Then we have our base cut pieces, and these are coming in at 2.75 inches. And we have a total of 3 of them. Now we're going to start the assembly process, and we're going to be pulling in the hot glue gun. I'm going to start with the smallest pocket first. I have found that it's easier to work from smallest to largest. Now I'm going to take one of my side pieces, and we're just going to add a little bit of glue along that fold. Now this is the important part. You want to make sure that the W, the bottom of it, is going to be pointing outwards, because we want this to become a pocket. And we've got our placement. It's pretty good. There we go. And we just hold that for a second, and then we go right on to our next one. Same thing, glue down the side. And carefully lining that up. We're just going to kind of eyeball this to get our measurement. It looks pretty good. And just press. But very importantly, we need to make sure that W is pointing in the right direction, or that's going to be trouble later on down the road. Okay, so we've got both of our pieces pointed inwards. Now we're going to take one of our base pieces. Again, take the glue, run that right down. And this one, you want to make sure that the W part, the open part, is facing upwards. And we'll just put that right on here. Now that's just a hair too big for this first piece, but that's okay, we can trim it. All the others are going to have the correct measurement, but this base piece, I forgot, is just a hair shorter, but easy enough to fix. Okay, problem solved. And again, we want to make sure that everything's going to open in the right direction. It looks good. So the next thing we're going to want to do is grab that second piece and line things up. I'm going to do the side pieces first, and we'll worry about the bottom piece after. So again, we'll just take the hot glue gun, and I'm going to run a strip of glue right down here, not too much. We don't want too much glue ooze, and one right over here. And we're going to take that piece and we want to make sure that the bottom is going to line up. And I find this is the hardest part. I'm going to kind of smush that down, bring that back, line this up, and smush. Once I get one side smushed down, the other side is going to smush just as nicely. I'm going to hold it a moment, let it pop up, and whoop, we missed on this side, but not a big deal. So I can go back and add some more glue. If we don't smush quickly, that's what can happen. Our glue will get cold. Okay, there we go. Let's try that again. And take that, smush it down. I'm not quite sure I got that. Ooh, a little bit of a mess. Okay, there we go. Smush is good. Now I'm just going to double check, make sure everything looks okay. It does. So now we've got our first pocket. And as you can see, we've got some space in there because of that little sided pleat fold. Now we've got to do the same thing on the bottom. Honestly, the bottom is probably a lot easier to line up. Okay, so again, get our hot glue. Run a teeny line along here. Good. And I'm going to fold this down. There we go. Okay. Looks good. Let it pop up. Great. So we now have our first pocket. We're going to do the same thing for the other pieces. Okay, well, let's start our next side. So we need two of our shorter pieces. Run the glue, make sure everything's facing the right direction, and place that down gently. Okay, and we'll turn that. Let's do the same thing to the other side. A little bit of glue, and place. I find it easier the more layers that we have. The smallest layer I find is the hardest one to get to behave. But one thing, we can always bend these just a little bit to make sure that it's kind of staying up. That might make it a little easier when we add that next layer. All right, glue and glue. I will get the bottom piece after. Okay, and line that up. It's looking pretty good. And slow, careful smush. I think we are good. All right. Oh, okay. Something didn't quite smush right. Let's try that again. We've got our glue, so let's try that again. Carefully lining that up on this side. There we go. And we're going to turn this and see if we can't get this to line up nicely over here. Okay, I think we've got it. Okay, better. Okay, so time to add our last layer in. Let's go ahead, we'll flip this over. Oh, and we still need to put the bottom of the pocket in there. So let's do that first. Okay, glue. Take that, stick that right here. That's nice and even. Good. And now we can do something about that top part here. A little bit more glue. Don't want to get too much glue ooze going. And we're going to smush this part down so that the rest is going to fall in nicely. Okay, there we go. I think we are good. All right, so pockets are in. Let's go ahead and try this one over here. So, line of glue. This one is for here. Let's carefully line that up. looks good. All right. And let's get the side pieces. So building this definitely takes some time and patience, and I don't think this is a very easy make. It definitely takes a lot of finesse. There are die sets that actually will build these, and I bet those are a lot easier to manage, but since I did not have any, I had to kind of reverse engineer a few of the elements going into this. So that definitely added to the challenge, but I figure if you can examine a picture and figure how the elements are put together, it is possible to reverse engineer pretty much anything that you're looking at. And if you're on a budget, that can be a very useful skill to have. Okay, and glue. There we go. And we'll stick this right here. Great. And I'll just fold those down. Okay, well, let's see what we can do over here. Last panel, and this time I want to make sure that the hearts are facing me. Okay, that seems good. Let's go ahead, put this piece here. More glue. There. That looks great. Okay. So the back piece really was the easiest one. All right, and that last little one right here for the base. Excellent. Okay. So here is our stacked box. Whew, that took a bit of doing, but now we get to the fun part of embellishing. So for embellishing, I want to go with some hearts. Let's see here. Got some wings, and definitely want that. Kind of thinking I'll put that there. Oh, the hugs and kisses thing is awesome. I want to tuck that maybe over here. If we put that a little tilt. Oh, that's getting nice. And I've got this really fun envelope that we can add. Okay, so I think I know what I want to do. That is always a good thing. Now, we're just going to need to put it all together. So first things first, I want to add those wings. I love the wings. The 3D Impress wings are some of my absolute favorite pieces. So now we just need some more glue. I'm using Collage Medium. All right, take that, flip it over. That's gonna go just about here. All right, gonna smush that down for a moment. Good. And now I want this piece to go on next. And we'll need to be kind of careful with this. It's kind of finicky and small. So we're just gonna add a little bit of light glue scribble on here, and then we'll attach it. There we go. Just kind of tracing out the letters. Oop. All right, glue and glue and glue. Great. Now let's see if we can't tuck that right about here. Oh, I want that heart to go the other direction. Let's change that. Put this right about here. Great. And those wings and the heart. There we go. I like that. Very fun. And now I can tuck that little envelope in next. Let's take that. We'll lift the wing just a hair. Yeah. Okay, that is pretty cute. I like this quite a bit. And we've got the front part embellished. Now, the last thing that we need to do is load this up. We've been making all sorts of embellishments and goodies all week, so it's time to put it all together and see what we've got. Now that the box is all completed, it is time to fill it. So, if you've been following along in this Valentine's Day making series, then you will have seen most of these embellishments being made at some point. So we're just going to load up this really cool layered box. I'm going to start with the die cuts all the way in the back. So we'll just tuck this right in the back. That will be part of that layer. There we go. And I think the rosette will need to go back there as well, and maybe the florals. Yep, the florals need to go back there too. Those are pretty large. So just carefully feed that in. There we go. And the rosette. Okay, lovely. Now I want to take the banners. Those are going to go in here, and let's see, I want to put the ribbons in the front. There we go. The little bows are perfect there. And we can put the ruffles in with the banners. Okay, that is definitely a loaded pocket. And then we will tuck the last banner back here. Perfect. So we have got our loaded stack. That definitely has a pretty respectable amount of goodies in it. All right, now to wrap this up so it'll be all ready for shipping. So I got this really cool heart tissue paper off of Amazon, and it's super, super pretty and very Valentine's Day. So we're going to use that, and we're going to wrap this up. Oh, wait a minute, I forgot one thing. I want to add some ribbon to this. And I forgot, I'd already cut some beautiful organza ribbon, and we can use that to wrap around our layered stack. So I'm going to take that, put that around here, and just quickly under over, and we'll make a bow. Finishing touches are everything, and I could not pass up the organza ribbon. That is very, very pretty. Okay, so I've got a little trimming to do. It's okay. A little snip. And how do I want to maneuver this? Let's try that again. I want to tie that. There we go. All right, and I think we'll just tuck that under a wing. I'll just keep it out of the way and make the bow visible. Perfect. All right, now we can wrap this up. So just take that, and we're just going to roll it. And now to attach that, we're going to use just a teeny tiny bit of ATG tape to help the tissue paper stay in place. Good. And now I'll take the bottom. I've got some washi tape right here, kind of just making like a little nest for this. That is looking really nice, and I want to just do one last little ornamentation. I want to do a band around the center, and I've got this really fun crepe paper that we can use. I'm just going to kind of make a little belly band. Right, so up and around, and there, and we just need to snip that, and I'll go in with a dash of hot glue to secure this. Okay, let's take that, wrap that here, bring this around, there, and now I can put a little bit of hot glue right there. Don't a lot, it's just a belly band, just for a little bit of added decoration. And to finish that off, I've got a traditional Valentine's Day heart doily that we can add to the center. There we go. And that is my swap all packed up. Thank you so much for joining me here today while we have been creating a layered pocket stack. I've had so much fun putting that together, and thank you so much for joining me for this year's Valentine's Day series. I hope that you've enjoyed today's creative crafty play, and until next time, happy crafting.